I recently had a run-in with a very famous musician, and my response surprised me.
Let's talk about that.
Good mythical morning.
It's another day, and you're here, and we're here. This is a good thing. This is like a triangle of awesomeness in terms of the way that, the feeling that's happening right now. In fact, if I could somehow grab hold of the feeling that is happening between you and us right now, I would take it and I would whip Link with it, and suddenly there would be an...
Wow. You know, analogies fall apart all the time, but they usually don't fall apart so violently. So what, is there something that you want to talk to me about?
But it was like, it was gonna make something good happen to you. It wasn't bad.
Getting whipped
like,
by a triangle.
And then there was gonna be a rainbow that came out of your head.
Okay. And then what? That's it?
Yeah.
All right, so something's wrong with him. I hope you're doing well today. I'm doing pretty good. I'm coming off an interesting experience with a famous musician, as I teased at the top of this episode. I was apart from my wife and my daughter. They were doing other things, so I was with the boys.
Boy time.
Boy time.
We call that boy time at my house.
I don't call it that because it sounds stupid. I was with Lincoln, I was with Lando. I said, all right, boys, we're having boy time.
Exactly. See?
Where do you guys want to go to eat? Anywhere. This is Los Angeles.
You give
everything.
Any choice of anything.
Any choice of anything. And they're like, Taco Bell. And I'm like, no, anywhere but Taco Bell. I'm not fond of Taco Bell. They're like, Habit Burger. There's a place here, if you're not familiar with it, called Habit Burger. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a burger place. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. They've got a light that comes down over the table. Lincoln likes to use it to perfect his shadow puppetry. That's the reason why we went.
Does he like to eat there too?
He likes the grilled cheese, and they have a little gummy bear burger, but all that's inconsequential. We sit down, we're eating, kind of in the back of the restaurant, and I'm facing towards the front, and I see a guy way up there ordering. Mr. Dave Grohl, famous drummer of Nirvana, that's a rock band.
I remember them.
And then he's the famous lead singer of the Foo Fighters.
I've heard of them.
I mean, I turned to Lincoln and I said, Lincoln, the man up there ordering is one of the most famous drummers living today. He was the drummer of Nirvana. You ever heard of them?
How did he respond to that?
He said, no, never heard of him. I was like, well, I failed you as a father.
But when you said it was one of the most famous drummers of our time.
He didn't even look.
He was like, well, I've got a duck down here.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He's eating my gummy cheeseburger.
I mean, he might have kind of glanced. But you know, I had just recently seen Dave Grohl's documentary, Sound City, and I'm faced with the decision at this point. What am I going to say to him? Because I know I'm going to say something. I mean, we've established this before. Yeah. When we see famous people from a distance, we have opposite reactions. My reaction is, what am I going to say to him? And your reaction is?
I'm not going to talk to him.
What am I not going to say to him?
I'm not going to say anything to them. I don't believe in approaching celebrities in public. So as a general rule. So I'm sitting there and I just start racking my brain. What am I going to say to him? I've got to take my kids with me because my wife is not here to watch them while I go, talk to this famous person. That'll help. So I was like, yeah, maybe. And so then my next thing was, Lincoln, would you pose in a picture with Dave Grohl? I was like, I'm totally going to use this guy. My son doesn't care or know about you. But I don't get a picture with you. So, but I'm just trying to come up with something that's kind of more of, more of a reason. An entry point. An entry point. That's what they call that. The old entry point. To have the conversation. And then the more I thought, the more questions came into mind of, well, at what threshold is it appropriate to interrupt a celebrity's public experience? He's getting his burgers. He didn't come here to form an autograph line type of situation. So what gives you the right to go up and talk to him? I found myself thinking of these things, and I think I've been influenced by you. I mean,
ever since you talked me out of introducing myself to Daryl Hall of Hall & Oates in the airport right as he was going into the restroom, and you pulled me back, I've second-guessed the whole thing.
Well, I didn't pull you back. I just said, I'm not going to go talk to him. I don't do that.
And I was like, but he's right in that restroom. He's captive. One of the greatest.
He's at a urinal.
One of the greatest voices of the 80s is at a urinal.
You're going to go side by side with Daryl Hall?
So easy to talk to him.
That freaks a man out when you start talking. Don't talk to me when I'm at a urinal.
I could sing to him. You make my dreams come true.
That would lead nowhere fast. Okay, this is what I think.
So I sat there. Just let me tell you the rest of the story right quick. I sat there, and a few seconds later, Lincoln says to me, I guess I was quiet for a while and maybe staring. He's like,
Dad, you okay?
Dad, he said, Dad, it's rude to stare at people.
Go get him, Lincoln.
And so I'm like, I wasn't looking at him. I was just looking over your shoulder.
Looking at the menu.
Well, I was already eating. And then I realized that the whole side wall was a mirror. And then I had him. So for the rest of the whole time, I was able to look over here and watch Dave Grohl in the mirror. And just
how was that for you?
Think it was great. Just to think about all the things I could say to him. So then I started thinking, well, if I could I just saw his documentary. Maybe that's justification to go up to talk to him. He'll know that I'm not just like a guy who, I think you're cool. I want to take your picture or help you with Instagram. Have more of a justification.
Yeah.
I think there is a point where you have to talk to a celebrity, even you, right?
Okay, well, I'll tell you two things. The first thing is I say you have to ask yourself the question, what if everyone in this establishment thought like you did? So that would mean that everybody in the whole place would get up and go
line up,
talk to this guy.
I mean, they're not all fans.
Well, you're not really that much of a fan.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I
don't own any of his albums.
So my general rule is that if everyone behaved like this, how would it be for this guy? He wouldn't go. He wouldn't go out. But in Los Angeles, because there's a lot of famous people in Los Angeles, there's a little bit of an unwritten rule that is like, okay, you see somebody famous on the level of Dave Grohl, you don't talk to him because he couldn't have a life in this city if everyone did that, right? So that's sort of an unwritten rule, and I subscribe to that rule. But having said that, I will say that there are 3 celebrities that if I saw them in person, I would muster up, the gumption to go and talk to them. Merle Haggard, Lionel Richie, and I would also go talk to the Avett brothers if I saw them.
Oh, you would?
Yeah, and because I
wouldn't talk to them.
I have an entry point for each one of those.
I'd feel like it'd be weird because we're similar in age.
I would talk to the Avett brothers and I would go up and I would say, Ashley Lane is my sister-in-law. That's what I would say.
You keep bringing up this story.
No, I would bring that because I have an entry point. With Merle Haggard and Lionel Richie, I would come up and be like, you are my hero. Like and it would be embarrassing and I would be sweating and
so stuff. That other entry point is kind of lame. But yeah, if you are like, I'm the biggest fan, I'm your biggest fan. If you find yourself thinking that, then you have to go up and talk to him.
Right, but just to have an interaction with a famous person, you got to draw the line somewhere. But it sounds like you've matured.
I did not go up there, and so I walked out the back door. Well, actually, when I got up, I looked, and he had left when I looked away. So I just went out the back defeated.
Now, if you find yourself in a closed compartment, like an elevator with somebody, I mean, I feel like
if you're this close.
But if he's doing something, he doesn't want to be bothered. This is, that's where the rule applies. But I mean, you get trapped on an elevator with somebody. Sure, you can say, hey man, enjoyed the documentary instead of big fan. You get another entry point. Some, a little more obscure.
Probably not at a urinal.
Yeah, don't talk to people at urinals as a general rule. You know what time it is.
My name is Erin. This is my cat. Her name is Daisy. From Connecticut. It's time to spin the wheel of mythicality.
If you're a fan of short sleeve shirts, we got those. Full 3/4 sleeve exposure with these things.
Go to our Facebook page, participate in 12 Days of Christmas. You can win these and 11 other items, all types of stuff. Facebook.com/RhettandLink.
Rhett sees Bigfoot in the studio.
What? What, your finger? You want me to guess?
You tell me what that is.
It's hairy, kind of tall, looks like an editor. I would say it's Jason.
Oh, thought it was Bigfoot. Maybe next time. I don't like to meet famous people, but I definitely don't like to meet them when there's absolutely no pretense and I can only go on what I can prove to them in the moment, which is just, I'm a tall dude with a beard. You know, that's all I got, right?